space with them and give them a platform to share with you all what they've been working on, because it's really good stuff. So hit the YouTube button. All right, we are live on YouTube. So I am so happy that you are here. Thank you so much for joining. If you look in the chat, you're going to notice an incredibly global audience today. And if you look at our guests today, you'll also notice an incredibly global speaker set. So I am so absolutely excited to introduce them to you here in just a moment. But first, I want to sort of introduce to you this idea of classroom connections, what we're calling our community showcase webinar. And last month we did one of these, and it was our first, and we had a big announcement. And this month is our second. And so for those of you who don't know, the community showcase webinar is an opportunity for book creator ambassadors, folks using book creator at sort of the most profound levels and have been recognized for that. It's a space for them to come on and talk to the rest of the community about the projects that they're working on. And this is important because to become an ambassador, you need to have done some training on the platform, then trained others using the platform. You've likely been using it for a while and can show that you have creatively produced new and innovative things. So as an important part of becoming an ambassador, that also makes you great at presenting at a community webinar. So these showcases should happen each month. Obviously, during months when there's a little less school going, we'll probably not do so much webinar. And next month, we have a very exciting announcement as well. So stay tuned for that. But let's dig into today, because I'm super, super excited about the two ambassadors that we have today. They are on completely different opposite sides of the globe. So today we're going to hear from Simona Gayna, a teacher in Romania that uses Book Creator as sort of a creative space for collaboration with her students. And she works with an international bunch of students in the eTwinning project. And she's going to explain more about that for those of you who aren't familiar with eTwinning in just a moment. But essentially, think collaborative project-based learning style. And she uses Book Creator in a variety of ways. So she's going to be sharing a huge array of projects that she's done with her students, and then sharing a resource with you that has some links to some follow-up that you can use. We also have Mariana Mendes, a teacher in Brazil, a teacher, a journalist, a researcher. Both of these ambassadors have accolades through the roof. And Mariana has designed a project with students to raise awareness about the impact of social economical conditions while facing disasters. And I'm not going to go into that any further because I want to save that for Mariana. And it's a fantastic project. So I'm really excited for her to share as well. So without further ado, I want to cover just a couple little things, and then I'm going to turn it over to you, Simona. So if you'd like, go ahead and get your screen set up while I let our audience know that if you are watching live, just after the presentation, you're going to get an email with the links to the resources here. And we'll also share them in the chat during the presentation. So don't worry, we'll be sharing all the resources. 2, if you have a question, awesome. We love questions. Please use either the Q&A feature at Zoom or the chat feature, either one, pop them in there. And if it's something that we can answer via chat, we'll do it that way. And if it's something that we need to stop the speaker for, that's awesome too. There'll be about 5 minutes at the end to answer some questions as well. So use the chat, ask lots of questions. All the links to the resources are coming. Oh no, thank you, Alexandra. It's a good thing that I'm about to turn it over to Simona.
Thank you so much, David. Hello, everyone. It is a great honor to be today here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Let me know if my screen now is visible for everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Hey, thank you so much. I am happy to share with you some aspects of my work. And today I want to speak about what means collaborating in eTwinning projects, and in next minutes I will explain what means for me book creator, and I always saw like a great tool. And I'm a primary school teacher, and in my school I tried to implement the different tools. I am ambassador from Geniali, Quiver, and Scientix and eTwinning. And my school has motto, tradition, and excellence in education. And this is my school, an old school, and in the same time focused on news, technologies and news education. And we embrace new technologies and extensively use digital resources, but Book Creator is our favorite digital platform. This is my class. We are friends of Little Prince. Now we are in 4th grade, and they learn to use Book Creator and use it in the classroom. They used from 2nd grade. They were happy to work with Book Creator, and not because, you know, students and educator may quickly develop and distribute interactive multimedia rich digital books. These features are so great for us, but because we can boost enthusiasm and boost creativity for our students. What means eTwinning? Maybe some of you heard for first time this. It's an online platform who promotes school collaboration across Europe and beyond. Features include the ability for teachers and students to interact with peers from different countries, sharing experience and work together in different projects. Topics are different, a variety of topics, and eTwinning is focused on diversity and collaboration and needs a strong community. And like a kaleidoscope, I want to look at eTwinning like a kaleidoscope. It shows the many ways it can be used, of course, with help with Book Creator. A range of web tools can help eTwinning projects, and I was first who used Book Creator in many phases of the project, because in eTwinning we build projects, and I was happy to share with my colleagues the benefits to using Book Creator in eTwinning projects. And I want to share some of these benefits: foster global collaboration, enhancing digital literacy and creativity, supports cross-curricular learning, encourage project-based learning, and promotes cultural awareness and language skills. My first project was Are You Aware? And in this project was my first project from this presentation was the project the project initial premise was the students between 7 and 11 years old would learn so much possible for like subjects for natural disaster or individual or person with disability, because we must be aware about all that subjects, and our students must be learn what means empathy and how to encouraging their cohesion, social cohesion, and teamwork. And how we work it with Book Creator. You already saw some posters created and uploaded in Book Creator, but we used Book Creator working with our students from different countries, and we share in our online meeting what we created with, for example, about International Day of Person with Disability, and students prepared posters, and they were happy to upload in different books using Book Creators to raise awareness about the need of treating everyone with dignity, the kids. As you can see, you can discover in the links I already shared with David. Maybe they send messages to their friends. and they were happy to discuss about importance of water, of another subject, and what means for us in a topic covered in the project about what how important is water for all countries. The students used augmented reality to research natural disaster and volcanoes, and they presented their findings to their partners, of course, creating book creators, ebooks. Some aspects from posters. Now, students in this image, you can see online meetings with our teachers and students from some countries, and they our students increase their awareness of human anatomy, for example, boosting their cooperation and communication skills. And it's so beautiful to see, it's so good to see how students, they can share with their peers, their friends, and learn from together about human anatomy using Book Creator and using online meetings and virtuality. I was the founder in the project with another great teacher from Turkey, Levant, and we set meetings in every month to present different subjects, and they were happy to discover Book Creator. They said me they didn't use from Turkey Book Creator, and now they use to, and they were happy to work with us in collaborative ways. And here you can see aspects from online meetings, but I want to say about cross-curricular integration. We tried in our lesson to implement various subjects, as I say, but from languages, art, and social studies to science and math. Students can create books that demonstrate their understanding of a wide range of topics, and not individual books, but together. Another secret to prove that Book Creator is our friend is that in each project, each partner has a duty to present their town, their country, and of course, my students in my eTwinning projects use the Book Creator. And is a book you can discover in the links about our town, Craiova, and my students worked so much to take photos and to visit our town and upload it in the book. My students uploaded photos and videos about national costume and dishes, of course, dishes and traditional costume in the project, and get involved in presenting Romania. And in this way, we speak about improving literacy skills. Of course, it's not only writing, editing, and formatting text in Book Creator, helping students to improve their literacy skills, but they can improve their speaking skills. And I will told you, my students are maybe some shy of them, but now are more courage, or they have more courage. As you can see, costume and aspects from activities. And of course, we share with our students different ideas to create our flags. Here are our flags with Romanian flags with feathers and beans. They were happy to insert into Book Creator costume and to present our country. And you can use Book Creator like this to present your culture and your country in great way. And you can see now how happy were our partners to discover. Another project was under the same roof. As you can see, we like projects to be open to highlight the various topics and the importance of feeling the child's emotional. And this project was dedicated to fostering his intellectual of our students. And here is a photo of library. It was a library, collaborative library I used in Book Creator. I invited my partners to create partners from different countries work together in a book creator project, and I challenge them to split our students in teams, international teams, and you can see now colors, blue teams, purple, and like this. And we used book creator like library to create books of teams. And the blue teams, for example, org in blue teams means how were the team's digital ebooks made. Each team had a color, like I say, and within the students distribute their tasks. Some of them wrote the story. My students had family, the topic, the subject. Others have dramatic using playing role and put inside the book creator playing that role. And other children drew the matching illustration to be the fixed with to connect with the story, and others added the story in audio format. This is great future of book creator, and my students loved to use it. And these are some pages from the book, collaborative story writing. Our people had the opportunity to develop interactive stories with peers from other nations, and they meeting online and set the topics and wrote together that story. Red team had another challenge to write a story about a picnic adventure. And digital storytelling, of course, is on first time when we speak about book creator, because this platform enables students to engage in digital storytelling, which enhance the narrative skills. They can organize idea in a great way, and they use their ideas. My students were happy to use book creator to show animals, favorite animals, and because we speak about book creator like a tool to increase creativity. In a project focusing on children's favorite, my students were happy to practice empathy and imagination while learning about one another's preference. And they were happy to discover they love the same animals, for example. And in these photos, you can see Irina, one of my students, and I will tell you a secret. They like book creator to use this feature with this style because they like it so much. They choose to present their favorite animals in different ways. They created, they used different materials, and others use it in other tools, digital tools. For example, here they prepare from materials. Another students prefer to write about favorite animals, and this is a proof in our collective book, the team 4, for example, mixed country teams, who has the mission to write about favorite animal. Another team was with another mission, for example. They have to make a mini book to create a collection of favorite characters from the story. And in these photos, you can see Captain Hook and Sleepy of the Beauty, of course, different characters from the stories, and a fantastic woman, of course. And I challenge more. Last year, my partners from the project to create with Book Creator a guide prepared for students and teachers, and to use digital tools for that reason in augmented reality. And you can discover in that ebook different methods and effects of augmented reality in the classroom. And we wrote a guide for educator, and these are some pages, lesson plan, aspects of what tools we used, how students use it, are Lupa, for example, or how integrated in the classroom Merge Cube or Planet Stop. And I challenge you to check that books because you will find many things for your classroom. And because I know the time is running so fast, I will show you another book. For example, this is book created for a global lesson from Turkey, Greece, Hungary, and Bulgaria to raise your voice today to save the earth for tomorrow. And we created, with help of our students, books to increase attention of our friends about stop global warming, and they inserted not only posters or works or drawings, but they used Chatterpix and made great movies. And another guide was about human love, about inclusive learning. The tool supports diverse learners, including those with disabilities, and students can use text-to-speech features for accessibility, and we use that. That means Book Creator is an inclusive platform for all students. There are some aspects from the book. The book is more rich in pages, but now I want to challenge you to check the book and discover what what my students and my partner students discovered, and about creativity again, how to not boost your enhance in creativity with Book Creator, because always they have the opportunity to unleash their creativity by designing and customize their books. And this is a book. This is a book in Escape Room Land. They created shape of their country using ebook. This is a shape of Romania mission to recreate the shape of our country. Moldova, in every country was happy to recreate that shape, different methods. And another way to use Book Creator, create like an activity in all school, made teams of students and create like ebooks and spread in your school and about cyberbullying and e-safety. They were happy to go from class to class in all school and to present. There are movies, they present QR code with Book Creator guide, and here are some aspects, and they were happy to share about this theme. Another topic was about reducing pollution in big cities, the carbon footprint, and in another project was the STEMopolis. We worked STEM-based project, and Book Creator was the perfect platform to produce experiment manual unique activities and gave us the opportunity to promote our students' work. And of course, you can admire their work, and our mission, like students, is like teachers are, is to challenge them to go more and to dive in their learn process. And this is the result. They create an ebook about global learning, about 7 CDG and cities, how to protect and see. And of course, they create using artificial intelligence ebooks, recreating that objectives, that 7 objectives, global objectives, and they prepare it and put in Book Creator. And I am on the final part of my students' work was to present their favorite profession, what they want to be in the future, because we must challenge them and must prepare them for jobs, maybe inexistent now, but in the future maybe can be the perfect one for them. And my students was happy to present in the classroom digital books they have developed through their holiday, for example, and they are happy to share always with their colleagues, showing location and activity, and they are more experts to work in Book Creator. This is a part of our library, of class library, and in conclusion, combining Book Creator and eTwinning open up exciting opportunities for collaborative learning. Embrace the power of digital tools to connect with educators and students worldwide. Encourage creativity, critical thinking, and cultural exchange in your classroom. And thank you so much for this. And these are there in that page you can see some links. And I hope, David, I respected the time for my presentation.
Yes, Simona, you did fantastic. Right on time, just in time. Very, very,
thank you
very
so
wonderful.
much.
And just to remind folks, you can ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A. Thank you, Simona. I haven't seen any questions come in, but as I tell folks about the resource that I'm going to share in a moment, if you have a question, pop it in the chat. I am going to share both books. So I know what it's like to be in a webinar, and I know that once you get your hands on the resource, you start flipping through the pages and you go ahead and then you stop listening. So don't worry, you're going to get both books that you're seeing presented. I'm going to put them in the chat before we leave, and I'm also going to email them to you tomorrow. So don't worry, you will get these books and all of the links and resources that Simona just talked about in her presentation. So thank you so much, Simona. That was awesome. I love just the wide array of things that you're working on with your students.
Thank you.
And how you're really engaging them at all these different angles, collaborating with an international body, working on projects that others are working on, seeing the authentic audience. You're just an inspiration. So I was super happy to have you come on and share everything that you're doing. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, if you have a question for Simona, you can put it in the chat. She's going to take a breather here, get some water, hopefully, and then can be chatting with you as well. So I'm here in the chat, Simona's in the chat, and now, without further ado, Miss Mariana, the stage is yours. Take us away.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you, Simona, and thanks everyone who's watching. I've been following the chat here, trying to keep up with all the comments. And it's amazing how we can get inspired by hearing and listening to each other's ideas. I learned a lot from Simona, and I think our works have a lot in common because I also worked with natural disasters and some other SDG topics. So it's a point in common here. So I think, can I start, David? Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Stage is yours.
So as David said, you will receive the link for this book. So it has a lot of other additional links. I'm a journalist. Actually, I'm graduated in journalism, but I am also a teacher. So I try to join these two fields of experience in my daily practice. So I teach journalism, but with an approach to media literacy. And I try to bring media literacy to my classes to expand the literacy, not only the linguistics aspect of it, but also the whole meaning it has. And I'm also studying now, I'm doing my postdoctoral research in media literacy, multi-literacies, and fight misinformation through these practices. And I think Book Creator has been an amazing tool for that. It has helped me a lot, and I will try to share some of the experiences I've been having on this way, okay? So first of all, I would like to present a little bit of my theoretical background, what makes me think and do the things the way I do. So my perspective here is the engaged multi-literacy, which is an approach that my research group, the research group where I work, has been developing, which is an approach of the pedagogy of multiliteracy from the New London group you have probably heard of, and to the pedagogy of Paulo Freire, pedagogy of freedom, which is very close to the social, historical, cultural theory. So we understand that our students learn when they are interacting to each other, and especially when we start the learning process from something that they have already experienced, they have already lived. So there is a video here, and there is also the link to our research group. So if you want to see something else about this approach and understand a little bit more about the project that we are carrying out, it's here. I hope you like it. And I would like to show you how we are applying this to our classes. So what is engaged multiliteracies? We try to connect the pedagogy of multiliteracies, which treats students as designers of future. So we are promoting our students, we are offering our students the opportunity to redesign the future. They take what they already have, what they experience, and they transform it into something new, into an experience which promotes the overcoming of oppressive situations. So we work with multiple cultures, multiple medias and languages. And here language is not only English and Portuguese, as I'm an English teacher, but we work with videos, podcasts, texts, and pictures, all kinds of languages that they can use to read and to express themselves. So it's something that it's being very enriching for us and for them. And the pedagogy of freedom by Paulo Freire understands the education as an instrument of freedom by three different movements. So we have the immersion, that is the moment that the students have to experience reality. So it can be through a game, through a role play, something like that. And after that, they have the immersion, which is the moment that they create concepts, they try to formulate the scientific ideas that are related to these experiences. And after that, they have the insertion. So it's the moment that they give back to society. They create something to redesign this future. And it's all based on activity theory, because we learn through the reality. We use facts, things that affect their reality, so they can work from this point and re-elaborate that, so they can overcome situations of oppression. And it's a tool to get curricular justice, which is what we call here a democratic process, which aims to make the schools and the individuals more engaged and more dignified. So we have three principles, which is knowledge, not only curricular knowledge, but social cultural knowledge as well. The care, which is the opportunity to take care of everyone involved, not only teachers, students, managers, but everyone around the school, the school community. And the coexistence, which is the ability, as Simona Simona mentioned many times, to raise awareness of differences that we have in our school and in our society. So it's our greatest challenge here to promote this change through changing our students' mind, right? So we do that. We plan our classes based on finding a social activity which can be affect something that has happened to our students or to our community. We try to relate curricular skills and competences from these facts from reality. So here in Brazil, we have BNCC, which is the curricular standards. They are the curricular standards. So we try to relate these curricular standards to the social activities we are promoting our students to work with. We also have the characteristics of multi-literacies, which are the multicultural, multimedia, and multi-languages. So we always try to plan our classes by finding different languages, different aspects that we can work with our students, so they are able to get in touch with these contents with different materials. And then we start the 3-step process. We have the immersion in reality, which is the moment that our students have contact to the reality, or they reflect on the reality they are living. It can be through a game, through watching a video, or listening to music, something like that. And also we have the critical construction of generalizations, which is the moment that the teacher enters and the teacher explains the concepts, and they help, the students help create the concepts and underline the scientific aspect of the knowledge. And after that, we produce social change. So our students create performances, or books, or manifestos, anything that can represent their mindset change. So it's how Book Creator gets into every point of this road, because we can use it in different moments. And this is something that I would like to share with you today. So here we are talking about building empathy, confidence, and collaboration. Simona has shared a lot of examples she has been working with. And I believe that Book Creator can help our students build empathy by promoting different opportunities for them to interact with each other and provide scaffolding, which is some students that struggle in some aspect can be helped by other students that are not struggling that much, so they can learn from each other, and they can learn from the media resources that we share. They can be aware of different ways of knowledge, thinking, and feeling. So they can watch videos of real people talking about what's happening to them. They can write texts to express what they are feeling, and by reading these texts we can understand each other's feelings and experiences, and they can expand their possibilities by we are allowing them to think outside the box. So we can tell them that their own stories are valuable and they deserve to be heard. So it's something that for me, it's the most impressive way to work with Book Creator is when we give students voice. Also, we can build confidence by attending to the learning specificities. Simona talked about students with disabilities, and we have personalized learning. We can help students gain confidence. We can provide them with resources that are adequate to them. So, for example, I had students who weren't able to speak in class because they were ashamed or they were not confident enough to do that. But when we used Book Creator, they could record their voices, they could hear themselves. And after that, they started feeling more confident. And now they can talk in class because they are not afraid anymore. So it's something that I have seen many times during my practices. So we can also offer different languages for them to express. If a student is not very good at writing, but is very good at speaking, they can express themselves by using different languages. And we can provide these opportunities by using Book Creator. And we can combine these abilities from different students so they can reinforce their strengths and support each other on their struggles. And also we can provide formative feedback. which I think is the most amazing kind of feedback we can provide. There are now the comments and the stickers, the feedback stickers, they just love that. And I remember one of the projects I'm going to show here today, the students were not confident about their writing. So during the project, every week I got into their books and I would left some comments on, oh my God, I'm excited to know how this story is going to end. Or, oh my God, you found a very interesting ending for this story. It's so creative. So I was not only checking their writing, I was interested about their stories, and that got them much more excited about the process. And they could learn language, they could learn English, but they did that in a different way, not so oppressive and not so tense way. Also, it can build collaboration because they help each other on using Book Creator, on researching what they're going to post here, what they're going to write here. So they help each other all the time. And they collaborate not only to each other, but they collaborate to the world, because their books, I think someone said here on chat that the students produced books, and these books were made available to other students that can learn from these stories. So it's like a chain of collaboration that never stops, and which I think is the most amazing thing. So now I have left this book that I've used in a webinar, actually an Energizer event here in Brazil, with teachers, with 10 different ways to engage students with Book Creator, which go through the availability, the accessibility, sorry, of the languages, the opportunity we have to add voice recording, and also to add information about the pictures for people with vision disabilities, and also the creative opportunities that we have. So it has some tutorials. The tutorials are in Portuguese, but you can also use the translation button from YouTube to join it. And the book itself, it's in English. But now I would like to show you the book that my students created. First of all, I would like to just give some context. My students are from this group of students. They are from a very privileged school, and it's difficult to work with cultural awareness in these places because sometimes they are not open to different realities, or they have never experienced anything like that. And in February here in Brazil, there was a natural disaster. We had Brazilian coast here in São Paulo specifically. There were floodings that killed many people, left a lot other people homeless. And some of my students were there in São Sebastião, which is the city where these floodings occurred, but they just took an helicopter and got back home. And they couldn't be able to think about the people who were left behind. When I asked them about that, they were like, well, it's not my problem. And well, it's not, but don't you think you could do anything to help? Wouldn't it be easier for them if anyone would help? And they were like a bit resistant at first, but then I decided to do this activity with them. And I will show you, these are the steps, the class plan steps, but you will have that later. I will show the activities that we used. So first I took a news piece from television in English so they could see what has happened in our country, and they would see people leaving their homes, people who were living in schools or gyms because they didn't have where to go, and some people, some old people, some people with young kids. And after that, I asked them a few questions about what happened. So it's an Edpuzzle video, which was actually embedded in our book. I will not play it here, but you can see, I guess you can see on screen. So it was a news report from TV, like 2 minutes, and they were already a bit concerned because, oh, I didn't know it was so serious. I didn't know it was such a problem for them. And well, yeah, it was. Then we made a Pictionary. Because there were some words that they learned from the news, and I decided to make a Pictionary because they never liked much when we asked them to write. So I don't want you to look for the definition of the words. I want you to look for pictures that represent these words. So we created a Jamboard with a Pictionary, and they found out the meaning of these words by looking at the pictures. And oh, I didn't know this was the meaning of storm. And then they would get more involved with the vocabulary. After that, I asked them to read a text, an article about these events. And then it's an article by BBC News. And I had some verbs that we were working with past tenses. So I highlighted the verbs that we were working to call their attention to the grammar aspect that I wanted to work. But I also, here the point was that they were learning through language, and they were learning the language. It was not a grammar class, a part of the world. They were learning linguistics, they were learning grammar, but with a real experience from their real lives. After that, they had some questions, some vocabulary, some grammar questions here, because of course they needed to do some activity like that because they had a test. After that, I created a presentation with pictures of some disasters, some that were natural disasters and some that were not natural. So they could recognize that the human action would change ways, the way that nature reacts as well. So natural disasters, could they be avoided? Could they have less impact if human beings wouldn't harm nature as much as we are? And I presented them with some examples, and I showed São Sebastião, which was here in São Paulo, but I also showed California. I also showed Mariana in Minas Gerais, which was not a natural disaster, was actually a power plant, which collapsed and killed hundreds of people and left thousands of people homeless. And I showed them the nuclear disaster, and also the COVID pandemics. So some were natural disasters, but some were not. After that, I randomized some characters and some situations. So they have the characters, they have the settings and the conflicts that they would face. And it was very interesting because some of my students didn't know what to do. For example, one of my students got this: 2 old sisters that lived together in a pretty little house in New Orleans during a Category 5 Atlantic hurricane. This student wanted to solve everything with money, but she couldn't, because money wouldn't save her from a hurricane. She couldn't even withdraw money in this situation. So she understood that these 2 old sisters could only survive if they counted on the charity or the help of other people who had nothing to do with them. So they had to research, how do I survive a hurricane? Where do I have to hide? Who do I look for? Who do I call? Do I have to buy food? Do I have to buy medicine? What services are probably available? So they would have to do this research because they didn't have the slightest idea of that. And when they did this research, they could realize that they were only possible to survive if other people helped her. So after they understood that, I said, okay, so now what do you think? Do you have anything to do with the people you left behind in São Sebastião? Could you help them in any way? Could you help them with any kind of help, like bring them water or help them to escape or help them rebuild their homes? What could you do to help them? And it was very interesting because by putting themselves in the shoes of these people, by writing a story, made them understand how they could help each other in the real life situation. And okay, I'm privileged, but I can use my privilege to help other people. I can, if I'm not selfish, I can help other people. So this was my favorite part of the process. And after that, they wrote a book. They wrote amazing books about surviving a disaster. And they, I will just show you the titles because you will be able to explore their books. So the one that got my attention was this one, My Diary, because the student, they were from a Jewish school, and they had read the book by The Diary of Anne Frank many times. So this girl kind of reproduced the format of that book, but she wrote a book about a girl who survived the disaster of Mariana, which was the mud flooding. So there was a disaster. The families weren't paid from the enterprise who owned the power plant. So they were left without homes, some without families, and they didn't have any money to build their lives again, to rebuild their lives. So this was a very interesting book, and this girl recorded her voice with intonation, with emotion. So she worked writing, but also pronunciation, emotions. It was really, really interesting. And I have also, I have provided you with an extra book, which I will let available for you to use as a template, which is also, as Simona worked with global warming, I have worked as well. So this book is focused on developing the ability to write an essay, an article for the B2 certificate from Cambridge. So students must learn how to write, but we're not going to give them worksheets and ready texts to work on. They will have videos, they will have the 3D models to see how the temperature is rising around the globe, which is a feature that I love and they go crazy about. When they see the 3D models, they just freak out because they want to play around with the 3D modes. We have an article here. And also this book, the students interact with the book, so they create a copy and they write in this book. So they identify verbs, nouns, adjectives that are related to climate change, global warming, and other aspects that they may consider relevant. So they have some word wall games embedded here that they can use to improve their writing. We have some useful expressions here, and also this puzzle activity that they have to put the paragraphs in order to create an article. And finally, we have, this is another thing that I loved, the organizers, I forgot the name we use here, but when we have the diagrams that we use to plan our writing, it's just amazing, and they can use it to plan their writing before they make their final text. And then I added a self-evaluation page where students can use the feedback stickers to evaluate their own works based on the standards that our that Cambridge evaluates our work. So the content, the communicative achievement, the organization, the language. So students are invited to look back and to evaluate their own work based on the standards that Cambridge does. So this is an opportunity to collaborate. You can ask other students to evaluate our students. They can exchange books to evaluate themselves. So it's not only the teacher who is reading their works. And this is it. I'm very excited about using all of these features. I think the opportunities are endless. And every time I talk about them, I get a bunch of other ideas that I think Simona would agree that we could speak about that all morning or all afternoon.
Yes, yes. Congrats, Mariana. Great work.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Both of you have just attracted a huge crowd. Over on YouTube, we have a bunch of folks watching, sending you all both just huge applauses. And then thank you for those of you who are live here in the chat. And if you are not live in the chat and you're rewatching this, the links to the books are down below in the comments. So check them out. If you are live watching and you're over here, we put the links to the books in the chat, and you will get an email tomorrow with links to these resources. To both of these ambassadors, I just want to say thank you so much. The work that you're doing with students is profound and impactful, and you are making a massive difference. And I love that for all of your work, Book Creator is a part, but it's not the central component. The central component is just something that's made easier by the accessibility of Book Creator. So it's just really exciting to hear that. We have 3 minutes left. Look, here come the kudos in the chat. I love it. They're just saying thank you so much. And then absolutely, I can't say thank you enough. Thank you so much for being here. We didn't get very many questions, but I think it was because both of you are so explicit and they're going to get the resource. So amazing job. And yes, I will share my email now here in the chat. It's dhotler@bookcreator.com. And Simona and Mariana, if you would like to provide an email or a Twitter or something that folks can use to contact you. If not, folks, email me. I have their contact, and I am more than happy to pass along your question or your kudos or whatever it is. So if there is a good way to contact you, yeah, look them up. These are two stellar educators in their countries and in their own right. So absolute honor to have you both with us